couple Twin Peaks books, which we're selling in the back. And I forgot to say this at every time I come up here. We're putting all these Q&As on the Blue Rose YouTube channel. So if you want to watch them again or see one you missed, they're out there. And you know, in that film, I know you were all struck by the guy sitting at the bar, Spencer, who is here. He also is filming all these YouTube things. So, can we bring up the director of that film, Rob, and the lead actress, Wendy Robie. Jump from the screen to here. This is crazy.
I want to remind you guys that I had the raw, naked courage to let that fucking camera get that close.
You look beautiful in the film and here. So Rob knew what he was doing, didn't you, Rob?
Thank you.
Because we've been watching so much Lynch stuff, I was thinking, like, were you intimidated as a director knowing that David Lynch had turned so many very gifted things into film, and now you are tackling this? I mean, was that a thought to you, or did you just love the story and you moved forward and didn't think of anything?
Well, as someone who's been influenced by David Lynch for such a long time, I learned a really important lesson a long time ago, which is you should never try to duplicate David Lynch. What was most inspiring to me as far as his rules for filmmaking is respect the mystery. And the original story by Barry Gifford has so much mystery in it that I just knew that it would make a beautiful film if I took that approach. And as soon as I got the idea for Wendy to play that role, I didn't want to make it unless Wendy was going to make it with me.
So Wendy, why did you decide you wanted to make this? What about this script or the story, I don't know what you saw first, made you think, I can do this?
Oh, that's hard to answer. We had to take such liberties with the piece in order to shoot it, just to shoot it, simply because if you've read the short story, very different short story, My Last Martini, the character that I was playing, Anna, is much younger. I mean, she's completely different, so you have to have completely different reasons for everything. I mean, it's so filled with mystery anyway, but who is this woman? Who is she? And this story, and is it really about her grandmother? That's all I'll say. So you don't know is this a memory? And if it is, maybe it's a generational. It was just huge. I mean, it's a tiny little film. What is it? 8.5?
14 minutes.
Oh, 14 minutes. Well, time seemed to stop there.
Well, maybe you only count the time you're on screen.
Yeah. Anyway, it was so captivating. How could I say no? Besides,
and we had such great times talking about the possible backstory for your character. And in true Lynch fashion, we realized that maybe all of these backstories are true, or maybe none of them.
Maybe none of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We would go down the rabbit hole together. So I just knew that this would be fun.
Well, this is my second time seeing it, and this time I noticed that your character really doesn't say one thing about herself, and I was thinking, as an actress, that has to be really hard to build something when you have nothing but history to do it. There's nothing about you.
Or is there?
Lynch actors. Tell me about the bar, because that set, I mean, I know you spent weeks building it.
When I finished the first draft of the screenplay, I immediately showed it to my husband, who is my muse. And his very first comment was, "Oh, well, you have to shoot this at Bryant's." And the funny thing is, I had not been thinking of that at all when I wrote the script, but as soon as he said that, it all snapped into place. We've been going to Milwaukee, you know, for many years, and Bryant's Bar is always on our itinerary. It's a beautiful cocktail lounge that's been open since 1938, and just the vibe and the mood is something that you can't get anywhere else, really. And when I mentioned this to my producers, John and Aaron, they were like, "You really want to take the entire company from Chicago up to Milwaukee just to shoot there?" But once they saw it, they were like, "Yes, this is where we need to make the film."
Well, it's the perfect set, and it had to be easier for you to get into that character, being in that set and that mood. What did the set, the bar, do to you to help you become this strange person?
Well, truthfully, not a whole lot, because of angles and levels, and I mean, I had to sit on things that were very odd and uncomfortable in order to be at the right height, and, you know, climbing over things and making it look so easy. So it was, you know,
Wow.
it was kind of athletic.
I mean, I thought I saw you doing cartwheels, but then I wasn't sure. Did I make that up or whatever?
Well, it had to be subtle and slightly Italian.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking this time where they were talking about the clouds and the discussion up front about the industry. Is that in the Barry Gifford story? Because there probably wasn't a cloud.
No, that's something I fleshed out. What I wanted to do is give you an impression in the first 5 minutes that you're watching one kind of movie, and then there's a sudden shift and you realize, oh no, this is going to be a different kind of movie. So it's all a red herring, basically.
But I have a feeling it comes a little bit from your heart and soul of being an independent filmmaker in a
Yes.
time when, you know, maybe they aren't as respected as they could have been, and there are no superheroes in this movie, no one's murdered, you know, and I bet that bothers you.
Yeah, there's a bit of subtext, which is not subtext.
Right, but I had a feeling that came from you. So do you think she tells this story all the time, or this is the first time she told the story?
You know what? There's some, actually, you helped me remember this.
Okay.
It's kind of a lesson I learned from David, that it's better not to explain. Yeah, you understand. Because what you think, what you work out, what you bring to it, is so much more powerful and interesting than if I were to say, well, what I really was thinking, what I was really working on. You know? But
So
what
let's
you
ask
come
that.
up with is just brilliant.
How many, we're gonna raise our hands, how many people think this is the first time she's told that story in this bar? So maybe like 3 or 4. And how many people think she's telling it over and over again to whoever came? Interesting. And do people not vote in Illinois? 85% of you did not vote. I've been asking questions all week long and nobody
Well, we're
votes.
all a little heartbroken the last time we all voted.
But maybe it's because people didn't vote.
We are. The best hands off march. I'm sorry, I'm running out.
No,
It's just this tiny thing that I went to. Was it, I mean, the signs were brilliant, but there was one I saw that was a penguin, which was the fiercest penguin I've ever seen. It was like he was ready to dive, and it said, "We swim at dawn." It's too good.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But I think a more interesting question after you've asked yourself, if this isn't the first time she's told this story, why does she keep telling it? And what does she need? What is she? And did she get what she needed? Did he?
I love movies that have questions. I love that. Is that what drew you to the story? Why did you decide to direct this Barry Gifford story to begin with?
Well, for those of you who have already seen Wild at Heart, you know that Barry Gifford writes some of the best dialogue in the world. And when you see it on the page, there's this craving to have an actor perform it because it's just so magical. He always chooses the correct word at every moment. And he always finds a way to end his stories with a little twist or a little joke, which really brings it home. So, but really it was, the owner of Bryant's, John Dye, said, we're happy to host you. We are always closed on Mondays, so you can just have the bar on a Monday. And I was like, okay, so can we shoot this in one day? And apparently we could, because we did. So
That's nice.
it was like, as an indie filmmaker, those limitations can be very helpful. They help you focus on what's truly essential to telling a story, and that's just what attracted me to it.
So today, we're calling this day Twin Peaks Day. We're showing Fire Walk with Me tonight, and we have a documentary that you guys should stay for, and all kinds of surprises. So Wendy, you have to share with us anything you want about Twin Peaks. Give us a story from the original Twin Peaks, and then from the new one. How about that? I'm asking 2 questions for one. I have a coupon if you need it. Give us anything about it. It could be anything. It could be about Everett, working with Everett, or, because, I mean, you guys are just adorable together.
Thank you. Okay, I have 2 stories
We want them.
from the earlier times. You have to understand that I've never been on television before. I was primarily a stage actor, and I was working in Seattle when I was cast in Twin Peaks, and it was just kind of this thing that happened that totally changed the direction of my life. But I got this wonderful gift, and the gifts just kept coming. In the first season, I don't know, I'd never played a character who hurt as much as Nadine. She lived in this, I don't know, I used to just imagine her walking through a firestorm that never ended. And I loved her so much because she just kept right on going. And then it was like a reward in the second season when it was like a kind of redemption when she got to have this kind of fantasy for a while, which was physically very hard. It was like this energetic 18-year-old would commandeer my body in the morning and do all these things, and then hand it back to me at the end of the day, and just come back and attack me the next day. There was one day when I had to burst through a door, and I brought the door with me. I mean, it was a trick. they didn't make the door any lighter. Seriously, I had this bruise from my hip to my ankle. It was like purple with the whole, it was agony. And I had to pretend that nothing was there. If you'll see, because Diane Keaton directed that episode, and she was wonderful. And she said, all right, actress picks. I got to pick the take that would be used. So I picked the one where I came through and it smashed me. I picked that one because I wanted it to be immortalized. And she was. That's so fun. She was wonderful. And I'm telling you, she was the best Nadine ever. I mean, really, she never gave me a line reading or anything, but she was telling me, you know, we were talking about something, and she said, you know, I know you guys are, I know what you guys are, I know what you're doing, and so on. She's kind of like this, and I felt like just taking off my eye patch and handing it to her. You go, you do, you're brilliant. But anyway, so that was one story. And the other one was about my eyes, because I decided that Nadine, she really does practice magical thinking. She gets herself together in the morning and puts on her eye patch, and then she forgets that she's wearing an eye patch. I mean, she presumes that there's nothing wrong, that she has two eyes. And she forgets that she's blind in one of them. So in this scene where Big Ed and I are in therapy with Dr. Jacoby, I winked at him. And when you wink at someone, if you're blind in one eye, you're suddenly really blind. And so while Big Ed and Dr. Jacoby are saying, you know, are carrying on with their dialogue, I'm sort of between them and back a little bit, and I'm working on my, you know, I'm trying to figure out how that happened. How did that happen? And I was just fooling around. I didn't think I was on camera, but
You were, and we all noticed.
and it was noticed. So that was pretty funny. The other thing was Everett and I did a horror movie together that was shortly after that. I mean, it's like we had a weekend off, and then we were doing this other, and we were, I don't know, we got together for breakfast in Glendale because we were doing something, and something about the two of us sitting together made people really uneasy. Because, I don't know, I'll just say, odd. So we looked around and people would sort of avoid us and, you know, kind of move away because we were really scary, creepy.
I loved you. And you were intimidating.
No, because we were the people under the stairs as well. We scared people in Denny's in Glendale.
Denny's is scary in any town.
It's true. It's true.
I've been doing these Q&As all week, and you telling those two Twin Peaks stories, that's the quietest these 750 people have. You had everyone here. Everyone here loves you, and so I hope enjoy Wild at Heart.
Yes.